Hey guys, welcome in, welcome in. Now, this one is going to be a super valuable lesson, arguably, probably one of the most important videos that you'll watch. And that's because it's the first building block to our research and essentially the first building block to writing any bit of copy as well. Now, I've decided in this, I'm going to actually give you a live run through. So, what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to go ahead, pick out a product, and take you through my research process. Now, this is the first phase of research, and this first phase is what I like to call raw research. So, this is where we're not relying on AI, it's just me diving into different resources and just pulling out all the important bits of information that we're then going to use later on. Now, I've decided to pick out this product here, and this is actually a product that is an old product that I dropped in Diamond. And you can see that actually at the time of dropping this, first of all, it's a skin serum. Now, this essentially helps with hair growth. We'll dive a ton deeper into that, but you can actually see that this was a product that was just popping off at the time of dropping this. So you can see that big spike up in similar web traffic, and they launched in December 2024. Now, let's take a look. This is them now, and you can probably see from the screenshot in the Discord, they've rebranded, they've got custom packaging now, and they've changed their landing page. And the first thing is, right, if this is a product that I'm going to go ahead and test, I've decided that this is the product based on my research, I've got high conviction on it. The initial research, you want to start as broad as possible. And the more granular we get, like further on when we come towards writing our scripts, etc., that's going to follow on from this raw research that we do. So, this raw research, look at it as the initial context that we're going to be able to extract avatars from, desires from, future angles from. It all starts from this point. Now, when I mentioned starting broad, you want to start with the overarching, like the main core category slash problem. So if we look at this product here, you can see get smoother hair-free skin, and is basically saying that it's clinically proven to progressively weaken unwanted hair. And then just come through, you can see visibly reduce hair growth in 30 days. Within 1 week of using the serum, my stubble literally stopped showing for around $40. Your journey to hair-free skin, from daily struggle to freedom forever. So essentially, what this product does is it actually slows down the regrowth for women who struggle with fast hair growth. So a lot of people will obviously use waxing, they'll use lasers, they'll use certain types of medication, and this is a safer alternative where you apply it to the skin, and then it's going to slow down that regrowth. So it's easier to manage, it doesn't grow as fast, etc., etc. But we're going to dive a bunch into that because I've not done any research into this product. I'm just going based off what I can see on the PDP and the sort of initial bit of research that I did when I first found these guys. So you don't want to go really, really granular. Just pick out what the core problem, what the core category is, and then we'll work our way down from there. Now, what I've actually done, and you'll find this below this video, is there'll be a category context template for you guys to fill out. So I'm going to be filling this out live throughout this video. So you can pull this up in another tab, watch this video, and basically do this at the same time as me, or just watch this and go ahead and do it yourself. But essentially, let's just quickly run through what this document actually contains. So first of all, how to use this document and what we're actually using it for, what's the main purpose here. So this essentially helps us deeply understand your core problem category before you choose any angles. It trains Claude or whatever other LLM you're going to be using on the exact mindset, language, emotions, beliefs, and lived experiences of the real people inside of this category. And then, of course, go ahead and make a copy for yourself and just focus on your core category to begin with. And then naturally, we're going to be going into a bunch of different resources to extract raw research. And then we're going to be getting Claude or ChatGPT to essentially just polish this up for us here. Now, my main thing that I go to when I'm doing any sort of research is Reddit. And I think it's also important to say that this is going to be an evergreen document. So it's not just something that you fill out once and you never touch again. When you start off, so if this is a new brand or a new product test, you basically work with what's available online. So you have, I've mentioned here, Amazon reviews, you have YouTube videos and comments, you have TikTok, you have Facebook groups, you have Quora, you of course have Reddit. You can also go and look at competitors' ad comments. So you can use a tool like AdSpy, which actually redirects to the competitor's original Facebook post. So you can see all of the comments, what people are saying about the product, what people are saying about the pain points that they have. You can just find a ton of valuable information in there. And that's what you initially want to start working with. Now, if you're an existing brand owner, if you're already scaling a product, you of course still want to leverage all of this, but you have things like your post purchase customer survey. So that is absolutely vital. You'll have so many key insights that you can get from your existing customer base, people who have placed an order. And I use Zigpoll. And if you go in the Discord, there's actually some key questions that I include in my post purchase survey. So you definitely want to be utilizing that. And then we also send out things like an email campaign with Google Forms to our existing customers to get more valuable insights from these people. But you essentially want to be trying to compile as much information from as many different sources as you can. But if you're just getting into this for the first time, then you want to be going straight to Reddit. And let's just fix this typo that I've made. So if you're not familiar with what Reddit Answers is, I'm pretty sure all of you will be familiar with what Reddit is. But Reddit Answers is essentially their own internal tool, which scrapes Reddit for you. So there's a few other tools like GigaBrain. I think they actually have went out of business now. But Reddit Answers, their own internal tool. It's completely free to use. Just sign up with your Reddit account. And you can ask this. You can see it's almost built out in a ChatGPT format where you can basically ask a question or you can prompt it and it will then scrape all of the subreddits and give you an answer. Now, you don't just want to be like typing in random questions. You want this to be quick and you want this to be structured. So down at the bottom of this document, what I've essentially done is given you guys all of the answers that I use. And these fall into a bunch of different categories. So you can see emotional experience, failed attempts and frustration, beliefs and self-image, transformation and hope, language, voice and expression, trust and proof, and catalyst moments. So we're really tapping into lots of different areas within our main category here. Now, what you can do is you can actually come up and pull up Claude. And if we pull up a new chat right now, and you can just do a quick prompt. So we can say, hi, Claude, we are doing some deep raw research on our main core category for a product that we're selling, which helps women with unwanted hair growth. I'm going to copy and paste a list of Reddit answers questions, which are in a templated format. And I just want you to adjust these questions so it is relevant to our category. Also, make sure that this is specifically targeted towards women who struggle with hair growth. So you can quickly do that. And the reason that I've done that is because you can see here, this is obviously just a template. So we have like problem, 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 and that will quickly give us our questions. And then essentially you have all of your questions here. Now, I recommend that you guys go ahead and run all of these questions through Reddit Answers. Don't skip any of them, just put all of them through. I'm not going to do that in this for the sake of time. And also what you will find is there will be some overlap between these questions as well. So if you ask like this question here, what makes women feel the most insecure about unwanted facial or body hair? And for example, this one here, what does a bad day with unwanted hair look like? You can sometimes get a bit of overlap there. And I just want to make this quick and efficient for you guys. But it's still worth doing because even though they're similar questions, all it takes is just finding one additional golden gem, which could then essentially be a potential angle that you can go ahead and test. So let's get started. So essentially, let's just copy and paste this and head over. And I'll show you guys how I actually use this. So you can see here what makes women feel the most insecure about unwanted facial or body hair. Because actually, if we come and look at this product here, you can see that it's not just the face that they're using this on. So you can actually see down here, it can be used on the bikini line. This girl here was using it on her chin. Okay, in the chin. This one here is on the face, chin. And I'm pretty sure people also use it on things like their underarms, on their legs. Yeah, works locally everywhere. So you can see that it can be pretty much used across the whole body. Obviously, women have different pain points in regards to where they most struggle with their hair growth. So we just want to keep it as broad as we can for now. And then you can see it'll basically go and scrape all of the subreddits. And actually, these links here, they'll direct you to the subreddit that it's actually scraped the information from. So you can see women often feel insecure about unwanted facial or body hair due to a combination of social pressures, personal experiences, or potential underlying health issues. Here are some main factors that contribute to this insecurity. And then we'll get everything here. So you can see here, let's see, long story short, razor companies target women. Okay, we don't want that. And you just want to scan for anything that you think would be super relevant here. So you can see ingrown hairs and skin issues. Shaving can also lead to ingrown hairs, and pimples on that area are painful as hell. So, I mean, this is definitely something that we want to put down into our raw research, because actually what we could use this for is ingrown hairs and pimples. That could actually be a potential angle that we run with, because you can see here, if we type in ingrown hairs, you can see that this is a good angle. It's got a big TAM, and there's a lot of search volume about this. And also, this is going to be a bleeding neck problem. People who have ingrown hairs, it's a daily struggle. And just from being in the space for such a long time, I already know that there's been a lot of products that have actually scaled using this as an angle. So you can see just from one question there that I've prompted Reddit answers with, we've already found what could be a potential angle that we start building ad concepts around. But let's keep on going. So you can actually see here now health or hormonal issues. So we have this here, heritium, however the fuck you say that. Excessive hair growth in women, often due to hormonal imbalances like PCOS, which is a big one, can be a significant source of insecurity. A lot of conditions can cause excessive hair growth in women. I have PCOS and have excessive facial hair. I have to wax every week to get it under control. Like, that is absolute gold, because again, this is more potential angles that we can run with. So let's go ahead and put that in there. And by the way, this doesn't have to be neat. Just get everything down there. It's literally called just a data dump. So just fucking put as much down here as you can. And also, let's quickly dive deep into this. Again, you can see here, let's go with PCOS. Again, like big massive angle with a huge TAM, and it's actually on a big uptrend. We can also check this here. And you can see a little bit of a lower search volume, but it's an evergreen angle. You know, it's not dipping up and down, up and down, up and down. That's an evergreen angle that you can run, and you can actually see that it's still got really, really good search volume. So actually, literally just from this first question alone, we now have almost like 3 potential angles that we can go with: ingrown hairs, this condition here, and also PCOS. So let me just quickly actually see what this is. Okay, so this is great, because you can actually see that this is a specific condition around hair growth. So it's a growth of excessive male pattern hair in women after puberty. It affects facial and body areas depending on androgens, namely mustache and beard, pubic hair, buttocks, and thighs, which is actually very, very good because that's another angle. And then actually, what we can start doing is if this angle was to work well, which we'll get into this in another video, but if this angle was to work well, then what we could do is actually start to break that down into sub angles based on the area of the body that people are struggling with, because you'll have a lot of people who will struggle with facial hair, but then you'll have some people who don't struggle with facial hair, but they struggle with maybe around their bikini line, for example, which we saw on their landing page. People do struggle with bikini line hair as well. So that's a way to also then go deeper into those angles and start extracting sub angles out of them as well. But let's get into the research. We're only literally on the first question right now. And this is all super important because if you are skipping this vital research and just going straight into your script writing, I think that's where most people go wrong in e-commerce. That's where most people end up just burning through products, going from test to test to test, and they have no success because they're really not putting in the groundwork. And this is, as I mentioned at the start of the video, the key area, because you have to understand who you're speaking to. You can't just be leading with surface level messaging. You need to understand their daily struggles. You need to understand their desires. You need to understand them on such a deep level so that your ads actually resonate with them. And it doesn't come from just skipping this, and it doesn't just come from running deep research through AI. We will do that as well. But if you can actually force yourself to sit down and do this over a couple of hours, and you're actually manually extracting and pulling this from Reddit into this document, your brain is actually subconsciously holding and storing all of this information. So when you do come and start writing your scripts, not only do you have great context to actually use for your prompts and to use in Claude, because this is what we're using this for. We're actually going to upload these files into Claude as context files, but you also have that knowledge in your head as well. And it's going to make you so much more of an efficient marketer. So let's keep going. Practical social anxiety. So just for the sake of this, what I'm going to do is just start pulling stuff out here because we're going to use it all. And then let's go into our next one. So we'll go for what's something people don't understand about women who deals with excessive hair growth. And you can just use the same chat log. It's just like ChatGPT. You can keep the same chat open. People often must understand the challenges and experiences of women who deal with excessive hair growth. Here are some key points: social stigma and emotional impact. I cover up all the time. I can't wear anything that is low cut, shows my shoulders, etc. Again, like it's just including small lines like that within our scripts, which are actually going to resonate with them on the deepest level. And the whole goal of this is your customers or potential customers should be actually watching your ads, and they should be thinking like, okay, these guys actually get it. These guys actually understand, this ad, I feel like this is speaking directly to me. And that's actually how you have a high conversion rate, guys. It's not always about making optimizations on your website to get higher conversion rate and higher ROAS. It all starts from that initial touch point with the customer. And if you have ads that are absolutely dialed in, especially around the messaging, it's very, very, very hard to not win. And this is honestly how I think I can make any product work. You can pretty much give me any product and I'll go ahead and make it work, because I will go through all of this and I will understand that customer better than they understand themselves. And that is so key when you're doing direct response. So I had a mustache at age 9 and I was bullied for it by all the boys in my grade as well as the closest friends. I've never had the courage to pursue a relationship. Oh, okay, this is another one. This is really good stuff. I've never had the courage to pursue a relationship because of a general hatred for my body. So now also you have this will probably be more so when we start going into sub avatars around this, but this would be a really good one, which is someone who struggles with intimacy because of their hair growth. Maybe they don't like, getting intimate with people in the bedroom, or they don't like having relationships. It absolutely puts their anxiety through the roof. So again, this is just a raw dump. So you just want to copy and paste as much of this as you can. And we're going to be using this to extract out more and more information. So actually, the more built out that this is, the more that we're going to have to work with. So we'll go on to some more. Now, failed attempts and frustrations. What have women tried to remove or reduce unwanted hair that didn't work? So this is when we're really trying to find out, okay, there's clearly a mass desire for slowing down hair growth, but what are they actually using right now? What treatments are they using? What medication are they on? What other products are they buying? What competitors are they buying from? This is super, super key, because this is something that we'll include in pretty much all of our ad scripts. So let's see what we can get. So you can see here, we have laser hair removal, ineffectiveness on lighter hair. And it's saying laser hair removal is most effective on dark hair and lighter skin because it targets the melanin in the hair follicles. It does not work well on blonde, red, grey, or light brown hair. Laser for hair removal works best on brown. Okay, that's really good stuff. Temporary results. Some users find that laser hair removal provided only temporary reduction in hair growth rather than permanent removal. And then we've got a user saying laser isn't supposed to be permanent. Okay, this is good as well. IPL, which were actually historically really popular dropshipping products that people had huge success with. Okay, that's basically saying that it takes too long. Hair removal creams, skin irritation. Many users experience rashes, burns, or skin irritation from using hair removal creams. I'm against it because it gives me rashes. Like, that is really good. It's not probably an angle that I would probably run with initially, because it is more of a supporting angle to that main sort of core angle with a large TAM and as a bleeding neck problem. But this would work great for people who are in your solution aware and product aware categories, especially product aware, because this is a product aware customer that has just typed this in. She's already said, I'm against it because it gives me rashes. And then we can create a whole concept, a whole ad concept around that towards a product aware audience, almost breaking common beliefs that people have with hair removal products. And this is why this serum is safe and effective for all skin types, because we use X, Y, and Z ingredient. You go into your mechanism, it doesn't cause chemical burns, etc. And then that product aware audience who still have that issue with hair growth, who are still facing it on a daily basis, that's then speaking directly to them. And you can see how that would just naturally work. So let's take all of this as well. Now, the other thing that you can do on Reddit is you can actually see that we have, of course, all of these different links in the information that it's scraping, but then it's also directing us to different subreddits as well. So if we come up, what you can see is we have like PCOS here. Is this a normal amount of facial hair for a female? And if we click on this, this is where we can also find a lot of gold. And I spend a lot of time not just on Reddit answers, but also diving deeper into these subreddits as well. Because you'll have, so this isn't a great example, because a great example will be someone that actually gives a big story or goes on a big rant about the issues that they're facing, because they'll usually say, I'm a 26-year-old female. I've been struggling with PCOS hair growth since I was X amount of time. I've already been to the doctor. They've prescribed me this. It didn't work. And you actually get a lot of context and a lot of information just from that one user in a few paragraphs. So I always like to take the big story / transformation based bits of content, but then also I like to come down into the comments as well. and just have a scan through, because you can see, let's see, I went to a derm for facial hair when I was a teen. When I was a teen, she gave me topical acne medication. I had a horrible allergic reaction and recommended I see an Obgyn, or no, never heard of that, for hormonal issues. That's how I found out I had PCOS. 20 years later, I'm still dealing with it. Best thing for facial hair is those at-home hair removal lasers. So like that in itself is really good to take, because we're getting two useful bits of information here. We're getting a medication that was prescribed but didn't work. She had a horrible allergic reaction. She's not going to be the only person that's had that allergic reaction who's been having this issue and been prescribed it by their doctor. But then it's also saying that the best thing for facial hair is those at-home hair removal lasers. So that could be like a common belief that people within this category have. Maybe that is the best option. And then another ad concept that we could build down the line is actually one that breaks that common belief. So they have that belief that that is the best solution, but actually our job now as marketers is to come in and build an ad that breaks that common belief. It tells them why that isn't the best solution. Maybe it causes some sort of long-term skin damage. Maybe it's around the effectiveness. It's not getting to the root cause. And then we can then go into our product and break that common belief and get them thinking, okay, well, actually, yeah, I was wrong. That isn't the best solution. I need to be using this serum. And by the way, this will come with you guys. Like, the more that you do this research and the more that you go through this workflow that I'm teaching you, you'll start to see these things in your research as well. Because for me, when I come into a new product test and I'm doing my raw research, I'm already starting to see all of the angles and the avatars and the concepts that I can build out. But even if it doesn't come naturally to you, we're building this out in a way where you can easily extract the information from this. And we'll be using Claude and ChatGPT to assist us with that. So let's go ahead and take that. And so that you can see there, like, that's come from me clicking into this, but let's go into this one here. Okay, so she's actually talking about this condition that we were just researching here. And she's telling us what it's caused by as well. I have thick, dark, visible hair that grows in my chest, stomach, back, shoulders, arms, legs, etc. So similar to what I was saying a few minutes ago, we can use this as one of our like core broader angles. And then if that works well, if that angle is actually converting, then that's when we can, I like to call it angle expansion. You can start to expand within that angle and start breaking down into sub-angles and also sub-avatars as well. So we can go into different parts of the body, and our whole ad will be around women who have this condition and struggle with it on their arms, for example. Okay, let's look. Here we go again. So this is the original poster. And you can see this is 15 years ago. So this is an evergreen category to be in. You can build a whole brand in this category. But even though we're focusing on this product as an example, this process is the same for any single product that you guys test. Let's see. I feel terrible about it. I cover up all the time. I can't wear anything that is a low cut. That's the second time that we've seen this comment about wearing something that is low cut. Shows my shoulders, etc. If I go swimming, I wear a really long, dark colored t-shirt. Even if I manage to remove all the hair, which takes hours and hours. So again, that's another really, really important thing, is our product is convenient. It's going to save them time. I'm 25, so again, we're getting insight into what age our demographic is. So she's 25. I don't have a partner. I'm straight. I've never had the courage to pursue a relationship because of a general hatred for my body. I've been on dates, but it's never gone beyond that. I always think I'll find a way to fix this, and then I'll be able to go out and whatever. But so far, despite various hair removal techniques, medications, other treatments, nothing has worked so far. I think it's gone beyond just being a physical issue now, affecting my self-esteem. So then we have like the whole mental health side of things as well, and what this is doing to people emotionally. and the pain that it actually causes them. So you can just see now, I've kind of went into 3 different sections here. We've went into Reddit answers. We've went into like the main posts, which I still think we need to find a better example for, but then also the comments as well. And it's just getting as much information as you can down into this document. So let's have a look if we can see a longer based story that we can take. So I'll do some digging and we'll come back. Okay, that didn't take long. That literally took 5 seconds. And you can see this is what I mean. So I'm a woman and hair covers 70% of my body. And I won't read all of this out, but let's just have a quick scan. So I suffer from hormonal imbalances, which is this here is PCOS. My body produces estrogen just fine. A common misconception about women who suffer, again, like look at is this condition, is that there's some sort of circus act or a man in disguise. That just simply isn't true. Hair covers a good 70% of my body. Every morning I shave my face, chest, arms, and shoulders, places like so. This is actually really key. She's having to shave every single morning. So again, that'll be something key that we write in our scripts because that's no fun. Like no woman wants to have to do that every single morning when they wake up. Places like my legs and underarms, I shave about twice per week. The rest of my body is unmanageable to groom, especially my back. This constricts with what I can wear. So again, we've got another bit of context around people being really picky about their clothing and just not wearing anything sleeveless or with cuts. I can't wear anything that remotely shows my back. I've kept this my biggest secret, and currently the only person I've told is my mother. The last guy I was dating found out about it by an accident. I dropped something and bent over to pick it up, and as I leaned over, my shirt pulled up, exposing my lower back for a couple of inches. I tried to get up as quickly as I could, but just as I stood up, I saw my boyfriend's puzzled face, and he has to dread the question, "Why are you so hairy?" So again, like there is literally another pattern trend as well, which is about dating and intimacy, not wanting the other sex or your partner to find out about this. So what you'll start to do is you'll start to just see the patterns like we've had there. So patterns so far is this skin condition, Hirsutism. We also have PCOS, people who struggle with that. We also have people who are really skin sensitive to all of these other products. We have the intimacy and the intimacy one, which is around obviously hiding it from their partner, etc. And then we also have another pattern which is around the clothing as well and restricting what they can actually wear. So these are all things that seem to be common trends across people who are in this category. So that is essentially what you want to do for this stage with Reddit. And the last thing that I would suggest you do is actually come into Reddit. So let me quickly go forward and ask another question. Let me just do this. PCOS. And then what you actually want to do is come into the actual subreddit. And you can see, okay, this one here has 140,000 people that visit it every single week, which again is more validation that this is a really, really big angle that we can push. But we can actually then start to search in here as well. So, you know, you can type in like facial hair, and then you're going to get so much gold. Cashier started commenting on my facial hair. And then again, like the comments. And you'll just be able to go down loads of different subreddits. Like, honestly, I would spend about 3-4 hours actually doing this and filling this out as best as I possibly can. And I would just do a massive dump. So start off by going through all of the questions, all of the Reddit answers questions, just extract all of the information, put that into your document here underneath the raw research, then go through and start clicking into all of these different links, read all of the subreddits, go into the comments, start extracting all of the useful comments, start coming in and extracting all of the stories as well. Go through as many as you possibly can, go into all of these different categories and put everything down into your document. And even just by doing that on Reddit, you are going to have so much to work with. You're going to have so many potential angles. You'll be able to extract so many hooks that you can run with as well. And then you're going to have so much that you can then give as context to Claude when we're actually writing our scripts, which is going to massively increase the outputs that we get in our script writing. And then, of course, we can then start to break all of this down into the sub avatars and get really, really granular with it all. Now, the other thing that I would suggest doing is also going on to Amazon as well. So you can see if we just type in the product name here, you can actually see that this is a product that does really good volume. This one has 10K bought within the last month. And you're able to come in and just read through all of these reviews as well. And reviews are really good because they're going to, a lot of the reviews will talk about the pain points that they're having, why they bought the product, what they're trying to fix. There's going to be a lot of gold in here as well. And then, of course, we have negative reviews, but we'll come back to negative reviews in one of the next videos and how we actually utilize them and leverage the negative reviews on these listings and from competitors. But you can see here, for example, this woman here, she's buying it for PCOS. And yeah, just go through Amazon, do a deep dive. And also what you want to do is come down into the section here where it says, let's see, yeah, down here at the bottom. And you'll be able to find products that are similar as well. So you can see this one, for example, is a women's facial hair removal cream, 1.2K comments. And pretty much all of these customers are the same types of customers who are going to be watching your ads and potentially buying your product as well. And you'll be able to get a ton of valuable information from here too. So that would be on Amazon. And then you obviously then, if we come back to the document, you want to be going on things like YouTube videos and comments, which I'll show you guys in a second. TikTok. So literally just open up TikTok on your phone and just using the search bar, start to type in some of the initial keywords that we found from our Reddit research. So type in PCOS facial hair, just type in facial hair, women's facial hair, women's hair growth. Look at all of the viral videos and start to go through the comments. And again, you're going to find so much valuable information in there from your ideal customer to put into this document as well. Now, from the TikTok, YouTube, sorry, let me pull up a quick example here. So I just typed in literally my PCOS facial hair. So I typed in that because the ideal videos that you also want to look for is where someone's maybe doing a sit down talking video. They're talking about their journey, their transformation, the pain that they've went through, what they've tried before. Is going to give you so much context. It's basically like a Reddit thread, a really in-depth subreddit, but in video format as well, which can sometimes be even more in-depth. But this one here is also a great one. So you can see Dr. Emma helps patient with PCOS and facial hair. And it's almost like a sit-down consultation video. So I'll just play 30 seconds of it.
Okay, what's been happening with your skin?
So I've got excess hair growth on my face. It just started growing, and no matter what I did, it wouldn't go. I went to about 5 or 6 different facial threaders, and one woman went through a whole roll of thread and not even half my face was done because it was just snapping. It was that thick.
Like that could even be a lead within one of your ads, what she just said right there. Let me just rewind that.
Roll of thread and not even went to about 5 or 6.
So what she said literally just there, I've been to 5 or 6 specialists and they went through pretty much a whole roll of thread and still half my hair was there. So just again, like future thinking, if I'm building out a story-based concept, or even like a talking head one, or whether it's just an AI voiceover ad, but it's coming from the perspective of someone who's been through this and you're talking through the transformation at the start of the ad, especially around the lead, that could be really, really good and super relatable as well.
Went to about 5 or 6 different facial threaders, and one woman went through a whole roll of thread and not even half my face was done because it was just snapping. It was that thick and coarse, and I've got no other option now but to shave it, basically.
Thick and coarse. So the way that she's actually described her hair growth there, that's also something that's come up a lot within the research that I've done. And I've actually done a lot more research. So we've got a lot here now. And I've spent about an hour and a half now doing this research. So just by knowing this, that triggers in my mind, okay, like that's actually come up a lot. So it's taking all of these key triggers in your mind when you're writing scripts. Claude might give me something about hair growth or the way that the hair looks, but then knowing what I know now, I can adjust it. So we'll be using, this is again in another video, but we'll be doing Claude helping us with the script writing, but then also there'll be some manual edits on there as well.
Basically, I don't know what else to do.
And how does that make you feel whenever you're...
It's just so uncomfortable.
And you can see there, like that's pretty much what we're dealing with. But anyway, so there's two things that you do here. First thing that you want to do is come down into the transcript and extract the transcript from the video, and then we'll put that in our research document. And the other thing that we want to do is come and start looking at the comments just to extract more research that we can put within our document as well. So let me have a quick scan here. In my 30s, recently got diagnosed with PCOS and started developing the facial hair. Hearing Dr. Emma say it's not your fault just got me. So like even something like that in our ads could be really good to use. Like it basically showing empathy. Like it's not your fault. We understand it. We've been through it before. I don't have PCOS. Let's see. Okay, here, where is it? As someone who has had doctors who do not listen, so doctors, they feel dismissed from doctors. And again, like this would just be stuff that I would just be swiping. I'd swipe all of this. Here's another one. Different doctors over my life have asked me if I've been diagnosed with PCOS, but none have actually diagnosed me. Doctors, at least any who I've encountered with in the US, are jokes to me. So again, that's something that you can include within your research, is people, by the looks of it, typically feel a bit unseen by the doctors, or they feel a bit dismissed by doctors. So when your job is to build ads that resonate with your target audience, these are the key triggers that you want to be including. So that's the two things to do there. Go and look at all of the comments, and then I would just transcribe this whole video and literally then just put that into my raw research file as well. Okay, so by this point, you should have an absolutely stacked category context file. And I mean stacked. You should have put in the work, done the research, and even if you've just done this, you should already feel like you've got a really, really good understanding of the category, the pain points, the potential angles. Now, this is what mine looks like. Again, if I was doing this, I would be doing it for another few hours and build this out even more. But now just get rid of all of the blue text on the file, and you can see I've actually left you guys with a prompt here. So copy this prompt, and we're then going to get Claude to just finish off the category overview and then also give us some potential angles and hooks. So download this, which I have not done yet. Let me do it now quickly. And then jump into Claude, and then just change this to your category. Keep everything specific to women who struggle with unwanted hair. And then upload this. And you can just do it in the same chat. Later on, we're going to get into building out Claude projects. And actually, what we're doing right now is really, really key for this, because this is going to be one of your key context files within your Claude project. So let's run that prompt and let Claude cook. Okay, so that took Claude a few minutes, but then it's given me the output now. And then you just want to essentially come in and paste this into your context file, which I've done already. So it'll fill out the category overview, and then it will fill out the potential angles and hooks. Now, you don't need to get too caught up in this right now because we will be diving deeper into angles in another video. But this is a really, really good starting point for this research file. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, this is something that I continue to add to it all the time. So even for me right now, once a week, we review our customer post-purchase customer surveys. We're adding them into our research files. If we see a new comment on our ads, if we get a new Trustpilot review, just any new bits of research that we find, I just continue to add this into my raw research. And then when it actually comes to using this file in Claude, etc., I'm just uploading new ones and refreshing it. So really, really important to have this in place. Do not ever go into script writing without actually having done manual raw research. And as I mentioned a bunch of times, even without the use of AI, I already have so much information in my head on this product, which even just that alone is going to make it so much easier when you're writing any form of copy. And it gives you a competitive edge because everyone is so fucking lazy now and doesn't do this stuff. So we will be moving on to our deep research workflow. So the next video will be our deep research where we're using ChatGPT's deep research, but not just that basic shit that people do, actually a really, really good workflow and is the exact one that I'm using as well. And the combination of deep research through AI and our manual research, it's almost like the perfect combination and the perfect recipe to actually give Claude or any LLM to just start cooking. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'll leave the link to this template down below so you guys can get to work.